Hey everyone, and welcome to the Digital Dish. I am Kathy Hackle. I am the head of Hispanic marketing at Boom Social. I work with Kim Garst. I'm also a nationally recognized live video speaker and consultant. So that's me. And I'm joined by my co-host, Lisa Beyer. So Lisa, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, Kathy. Yes, Lisa Beyer. I am author of Social PR Secrets. I teach at University of Florida social media management. Also do some consulting, also do some speaking, and also do the Digital Dish with Kathy. And happy to be here with our awesome guest today. Kathy, I'll let you do the intros.
Oh, I am so excited. Like I'm even like you get in the podcast, folks are not gonna be able to see me, but I'm wearing like my super cute outfit because I'm so honored.
Yellow.
I'm so honored to have our guest Colin Austin, the chief of everything, COE. He's not a CEO, he's a COE, chief of everything at New Scooters for Less. And he's based here in Gainesville, Florida, where I live and where Lisa teaches. And Colin, just tell folks a little bit about your amazing journey as an entrepreneur, and then we'll get to it, talk about Snapchat and small business.
Sure. So I'm going to give you guys the quick spiel because, the one story could go on forever. But basically, I was the kid when I was in college. I went to UF from 2000 to 2004, and I used to live on the west side of campus, and the bus system was, atrocious is probably the best word to use. And I used to sit at a bus stop waiting for the bus to pick me up for school, and it would drive by with those big words across the top that said full bus. And it just used to drive me absolutely insane. And, I just remember seeing the University of Florida, what Lisa's obviously familiar, just building and building on their parking lots. That's the only land that they have. They build on their parking lots. The demand for parking has continued to increase. And I saw an opportunity where motor scooters, like Vespas and those kind of scooters. We're not talking about, old people mobility scooters. We're talking about motor scooters that you're at on the road. I had a vision that was going to be the way that students got to and from class.
Awesome.
So you saw an opportunity and you seized it. And then, it's been amazing. You're the sole owner now. You've got a new location. You guys are super successful in town. You're it. Maybe tell folks a little bit about how you started using social media to promote your business. And then let's talk about Snapchat. Because, if anyone is following Colin, what is your Snapchat?
So it's actually NS4L, which stands for New Scooters for Less. So it's NS4L, and then my name, Colin, COLLIN.
Yeah, guys, if you guys are not following him on Snapchat, please do so because these stories are fantastic. Thank you. Maybe tell folks how you started using social media for business, and then we'll jump into Snap.
Yeah, it obviously began in the early days with, when Facebook, Twitter was always probably like number one for us from the beginning because I was able to use it personally and for my business. And then when Facebook pages came out, that was a huge opportunity just to start using your brand to connect with customers. Really great opportunity for me. Knowing that social media really kind of hits our demographic, right? It's college kids. I was all over it. They're all over it. And, it's been a huge opportunity for me just to be able to seize that and build relationships with my customers. And of course, now I'm obsessed. I'll use the word obsessed with Snapchat.
You've been for a while though. You've been obsessed with, because when I met with you last year to talk about Periscope, you're like, Snapchat's it. I'm like,
what's funny is that if I can be really honest with you, so I gave the live streaming thing, I gave it my try. I was right, like when Meerkat was doing Meerkat, and I was doing like live video feed of our culture meetings and stuff at the shop, and I did use Periscope a couple times, but then I was like, man, I like the ability of if I screw something up just to hit the X in the corner and start all over again, because I'm the guy that'll stumble over my own words or say something that makes zero sense at all, and then it's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna hit the X and start over. So I guess I like to fine tune my spiel, if you will.
Awesome. Nothing wrong with that.
So I just naturally, thought, fell in love with Snapchat, and it's definitely become my favorite platform.
And tell us a little bit of how you use it for your business. Because you do a lot of stories that are personal, but you do a lot about your business, your company culture, which is awesome. Tell folks a little bit about how you're using it.
Sure. My favorite thing to do in using Snapchat is just giving everybody a behind the scenes look at what's happening at our dealership. For the last few months, actually, but really been crushing it the last couple of weeks. We've been moving our business, and I mean, I would actually, go through the dealership as things were being built, as we're putting paint on the walls, and be like, okay, guys, like this color or this color, or, when it comes to paint, like I'm asking for like opinions from customers, and they thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I'd get, customer after customer just giving me their input. And I don't know, it's always just been a really great way just to kind of give that behind the scenes. I mean, even yesterday, we got these new Run GNV t-shirts.
Oh,
Can
cool.
you hear me? Very good.
Yep.
So we got these Run GNV t-shirts, and I haven't put them up. I haven't offered them to the public yet. And did we lose her? We lost Kid.
She'll be back.
Cool. I'm just gonna keep
going.
going.
Yeah, keep going. She'll be back.
So
I
offered them up exclusively to the Snapchat following that I have. I'm like, hey, if any of my customers want this Run GNV t-shirt, just send me a snap with your size, and I'm going to give you a 50% discount. And I mean, that's a massive right hook, so to speak, in Gary Vaynerchuk terms. But it was something that I could do to offer an exclusive to the people who follow me on Snapchat, and I was able to get them these shirts, and I got like 5 or 6 orders within that 24 hours. So just things like that, really building that relationship one-on-one with that following, and it's cool. I love interacting, and I can tell you some of the crazy things that have happened, like people breaking. I mean, these are vehicles, so it does happen. But I've had people, message me on Snapchat at 10 o'clock at night and be like, Colin, I can't seem to get my scooter started, and I could like right then and there troubleshoot with them.
Wow.
And people think
really
that that kind of customer service, being like the owner helping me get my scooter started 10 o'clock at night while I'm stuck out here, and we were able to get it fixed and get them right back on the road. So
that's huge.
Yeah, it's really, really cool to be able to do
You're
that
on the platform that they're on, that they can just go to, and that's just what they're used to doing every day, every hour, right?
Exactly.
That's huge. That's a great story. I love that.
So it's neat. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, especially, I mean, just like you said, with the college kids, it's their thing. And what's been more unique is trying to figure out ways to let them know. I think everybody knows that Snapchat has this, well, I'll just say it's difficult to build that following. There's no integration of like being able to like download everybody in your list, and you know what I mean? Like that's a very difficult part of Snapchat. But one of the things that we've been able to do, or one of the things that I did, was actually I created these little social media.
Oh, I love
Snapchat cards.
Love
with the codes. Also done like stickers and stuff like that. Stickers. And then this is the one thing I always tell people to definitely do. Like I've even incorporated them into our invoices.
Oh, very smart. Awesome.
And even on the receipts that print out from our machines, little snap code.
Great.
And I mean, it just, the following is just continue to build and build and build from those little things.
Well, and that's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, because if they get the invoice and they're like, man, if I have any issues, I can snap this dude. I'm just going to, oh my God, no, I love it.
And honestly, like like when people buy a new scooter from us, I've put it out on a checkout sheet. So we collect information, name, phone number, emergency contact, all that kind of stuff. And there's just a little blurb on there with the snap code that says, hey, I'm Colin. I founded this company back in 2004. This is your direct connection to me. I don't pick up the phone. I don't do these things, but you can Snapchat me right here. And it lets the students know that I'm here for them.
Colin, I give you a 10. That's awesome. That's such a perfection way of using social media.
And innovative and fast forward thinking. Yeah. I mean, I can see businesses eventually getting to doing this because it makes sense.
And one of the people always ask me, like, what's the quickest way I've been able to build the following? And the number one thing that's actually built it fast was, I go to UF and I'll do like little speaking engagements, whether it's in front of a classroom or just like some of the clubs, like Entrepreneurship Club or Little Leadership Society, like all of them. I'll go and I'll actually put my snap screen, in my presentation, my little snap code in the presentation. And I mean, I kind of use it as a ploy to get them to follow me. I'm like, hey, can somebody tell me if this like works? Can you guys like actually scan this from the back of the room? And I'll get like 50, right there, boom, 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 boom. And then, use that to get on there after the presentation and say, hey, can anybody like, on my Snap story, hey, can anybody like let me know whether or not that worked from the back of the room? And then I just get replies. Awesome. And then I start that engagement and just keep the conversation going with them.
That's great. So you talked about behind the scenes. How frequently are you on Snapchat? Are you on it daily, hourly?
So definitely daily. I would say I probably do anywhere between averaging 10, 15 snaps a day throughout the course of the day. But I do use it daily.
Mm-hmm. He's always
That's
there.
Awesome.
He's always there.
Yeah. It's your daily story.
It is. And yeah. I don't ever send anything direct. I'm definitely the guy who pulls it, puts it right on the story and let the people come to us. And that's what's really neat is that, you have to, like Kathy said, you have to be innovative. You have to, we want people to come and watch the story. So how do you do that? You've got to keep the content fresh and you've got to, come up with new things and be very engaging. And that's the challenge when it comes to Snapchat.
Mm-hmm. How else do you cross promote? So for example, do you download your story after a day and upload it somewhere else, or do you use any other channel?
But I've always, I don't do that very often because I've always found the quality just not to be very good of the video.
The audio, there's like a lag sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm actually hoping that'll get resolved at some point because I think that'd be a great way to build a following and to show people what's happening on your Snap story.
Especially if you have a story that you really want to remember and keep and go back to and use for different things. If it's maybe, your anniversary story or something like that.
I do. My wife jokes, or she laughs at me because I'm the guy who has an alarm set on his phone at 10:45 at night to download the Snap story from the day.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, that's great. Yeah. UF actually has a playlist for their stories that I don't think they upload everything. They just upload some significant ones. So I think that's pretty cool. So I use them as an example in my class. I'm going to use you too.
Oh yeah.
Thanks. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, and I mean, one thing that we've really started taking advantage of at the shop is the Snapchat filters. During the Snap story, during the build out, I actually made a Snapchat filter that had, our New Scooters for Less logo. And then across the top, it said coming soon to 13th Street. And when I went, I would go to the shop doing my daily progress report of all the build out that's happening. And I would throw that filter on there. And, I think filters are underutilized right now.
Oh, totally. It seems to me if you're not going to be a business actually on Snapchat and being active on Snapchat, the least you can do is have a filter for your geolocation for whatever your business is, if it makes sense.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that is the easiest thing. But if you're not on Snapchat, you won't know to do that. And if you're not even, a little tiny bit familiar with it, or even you have to be familiar with it to even get it. Otherwise, business owners are going to be like, filter? What filter?
But it's user-generated content. I mean, why wouldn't you want that?
Right. It's a branding mechanism that everybody's doing for you. Why wouldn't you have it? It's basically like the equivalent of a Facebook check-in, but even better.
Right.
Even
Absolutely.
better. So I think that's brilliant. What other tips can you share with us?
Man, tips.
What about artwork? I mean, do you spend a lot of time doodling or with filters, or how do you have a kind of a way that you brand your story?
I feel like the filters, so many people fear.
Besides the filter.
Yeah, the time.
I mean, besides the geo filter, is there certain fast forward or any of the cool?
I got you. I mean, I'm definitely the guy who pulls in all aspects in my Snap story. So you're gonna get me and my 2-year-old, doing doggy faces and stuff like that. and it's a lot of fun. And so that stuff definitely happens in the shop. There's been days where I've just done the entire story and fast forward, and it makes for one hilarious story.
And chipmunks everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the ones when I'm doing like my family time, like my favorite thing to do is when my kids are jumping in a pool or something is to do the reverse one, where it looks like they're being sucked out of the pool. That kind of stuff. I absolutely love those.
I like the behind the scenes on the personal side and the business side because it gives your, the more of the personalization for your audience to actually see what happens just behind the call-in for business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely just gives it a little bit more context and lets people know that you're real, that you're not just, business all the time. I am very much, a lot of people see me and they're like, man, all you do is work. And it's not true. I spend a lot of time with my family and it's fun. For me, it's, almost like experimenting and learning. I love to see how my kids interact with social media because we're in a day and age where people are like, oh, like I don't want my kid on this technology. I don't want them on the iPad all day, or I don't, yes, you have to be disciplined with it. You definitely don't want them to, you don't want it to be all that they're exposed to. But at the same time, I want my kid to be at the forefront of technology and learning, about this, and not only, just even the dangers with it, but I want them to know how to use it and how they can use it to better themselves in the future.
What's your second favorite besides Snapchat social media platform?
Second favorite would have to be Facebook. I have like my own entrepreneurial page on there, but I'm really into just the Facebook page for New Scooters for Less. I use it to test a lot. I put just content that has nothing to do with New Scooters for Less at all. Like, I mean, there was a video that I posted this morning of some random kid who was running into a garage hugging a dog.
I saw that.
Yeah, he saw it. Like, I mean, and it was like the cutest thing ever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is cute. And I post it, and I just like to see, which type of posts are getting the most engagement and what people are connecting to. And so I would definitely say I spend a lot of time on Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm. And since most your demographic is millennials and some Gen Zs, who are starting college, like, what are you seeing? Are they on Facebook? Like, what are you seeing? Because you have like kind of this connection into that world. What are you seeing? Obviously, they're on Snapchat, they're on Instagram, but what are you seeing?
Interesting. I find like they are on Facebook. A lot of them use alias names, which I think is kind of interesting. Or they're not maybe not an alias name, but they're using like not their last name, or they'll use their first and middle name and I assume, especially in the college market, I assume that's because they're making the assumption that employers are looking up their information and trying to search them out and see, what they're posting on social media. And I think it's kind of an outlet so they don't have to be found, so to speak. And I mean, what's interesting is I think a lot of people are navigating back to Twitter. I see a lot of, Twitter is being, I don't know, it's been kind of hammered lately. Kind of going through a rough patch, but I actually think they're gonna pull it out. I see a lot of people interacting and being on, using Twitter more than I used to anyway.
I think mobile has really saved Twitter. I mean, the fact that Twitter has always been so mobile friendly and just so quick and real time, that I agree with you, Colin. I feel like it's not going to go anywhere. It might get bought up by somebody and, be owned by Google or something like
Google,
that. Or
please buy Twitter.
Yeah. I really don't think it's
for, obviously for me, it's Snapchat and then Facebook, but in the demographic and what I see, with my customers and just being around college students all the time, I think it's Snapchat and then Instagram for most of them. I see so much interaction with Instagram, and it I like Instagram too, because you still have that control. You still, if you take a picture and you don't like it, you can exit out and try it again, and I don't know.
And you have the whole history that somebody can look at your whole history on Instagram, and it's basically like your portfolio. Where with Snapchat, it's here today, gone tomorrow. But with Facebook, what I found with my students, I have about 170 students per semester, and obviously we go over Facebook. And one of the things I notice is that they're pretty much all on it. They don't post anything. They just watch, and they'll sometimes like or comment, but they're not actively posting anything of their own content.
Yeah, I think
they're just watching everybody else's content.
I think that's the case. I think that's a case with a lot of platforms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's the case with Snapchat. I mean, Kathy, I watch your story and I watch what you post. Like, I mean, when I'm at, like, I even engage people. I'm like, hey, like, tell me what you think about this. And out of, on a given day, if I get like 100 people that see the snap or something, I might get 4 of them that actually reply and engage. Like I don't want to call them all stalkers, but, but a lot of them are they're just observing. They're just soaking it in. They're not engaging.
Right.
That's true.
Right. So that's why I do think Facebook is worth the paid, because
they're still there. Their eyeballs are still there.
Yeah. They're definitely there. They're definitely being influenced. They're just being like a little bit like, I'm not going to tell anybody I'm here, but I'm here.
Because their moms and grandmas are on Facebook, and once moms and grandmas get on Snapchat, we're off to Quick or Yik Yak or whatever. Do you use Yik Yak or Quick or anything else like that?
I don't. I mean, I have, like, I got on Yik Yak in its early days, especially like Yik Yak was, doing heavy promotions at campuses and stuff. They were at UF for, I don't know, maybe a week and stuff, and they were doing some heavy promoting. And I think it was around that time when I, was checking it out, but it's just a lot of noise, in my opinion. I don't get any value out of it. So for me, it's not a platform that I like.
Is it Quick or Kick? It's Kick, right? I said Quick. Kick.
Yeah.
K-I-K. Kick. Yeah, it's Kick.
Right. And I was referring to, Yik Yak in terms of just anonymous posts. I don't know. I just don't get any value out of it. So it's not for me.
And
what are some?
Oh, go ahead, Lisa.
I was just going to ask, what are some of your favorite resources, like books that you read? How do you keep up on, your favorite blogs, favorite people to follow?
Man, I think I get most of my social media education from Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
The guy and I connect on so many levels. People are like, why do you like this guy so much? And, we're relatively close in age. He's a little bit older than I am. But I'm
sure you read.
Yeah, I got mine right here too.
It's this is required reading for my class for fall.
There you go. Yeah, it's a great book. I read it.
I think it's hilarious what he says about the higher education and professors and social media people that are actually teaching social media. He basically is just saying, wait another couple years, because most people teaching it aren't really on it, which is so true. I mean, I'm the exception. Kathy's the exception, but it's sad to say, it's a sad world out there when it comes to social media and learning, education. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's why we get to teach it, because, even though we don't have PhDs, we're in it. We know it. There's no PhD in social media, and there probably will never be, because that's not how social media works.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like me when it comes to entrepreneurship. When I graduated from UF, there was no master's in entrepreneurship. There was none of that. And then, I've been an entrepreneur since 2004 when I graduated. And people are like, are you going to go back and get your master's in entrepreneurship? And I'm like, what? No.
You're like, I already mastered that, baby.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly.
Well, Colin, let me tell you this, and Lisa, you don't know this, but there is a slight chance that we might be able to interview Gary Vaynerchuk, Lisa. So,
yay.
So if we do, Colin, you might be able to come along with us to New York if you wanted to meet him in person. You would just freak out, wouldn't you?
I would. I'd be in heaven. Yeah.
That would be awesome. I'm hoping that since I have him as required reading, that he'll do a guest interview with me or something. But Kathy, you have to tell me what you're talking about.
We need to connect.
Yes, we do.
Kathy, like it's on my mirror in my bathroom. It's like one of my life goals is for that guy to be on, him and I on first name basis, like friends. It's like one of my life goals. So, yeah, but like I said, it's just because he provides so much.
He's your number one go-to.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously knows what he's doing. That's all I can say about it. Is that his books are incredible. He knows his stuff.
He's definitely a true practitioner and an entrepreneur, where there's, a lot of times it's not that it doesn't go like that. Right.
Right.
Mhm. And and people give him a lot of slack because he uses profanity or whatever, but that's who he is. That's his style. If you don't like it, you don't have to listen to him, like he says. If you don't like it, go elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like it.
Exactly.
He tells it like it is, and I think he's a true visionary when it comes to what's going to be hot, what's work. And he keeps saying it, like we're going to mobile only. We're really moving into mobile only, and if you look at Gen Z, I mean, it's all mobile.
It's like this constantly.
Yeah.
This is my daughter. I mean, she's like this, but there's no, like, the computer is like maybe once every 2 weeks. Everything is on her phone. Everything
Forget
from,
TV, forget
yeah,
it.
everything from watching to listening to communicating, everything, socializing, everything's on the mobile device.
Yeah, and it's only going to continue that way. I mean, I I never would have told, I would never would have thought that I would have actually gotten rid of like cable television in my house, but I don't watch, I don't watch TV at all anymore. And I'm like, why even spend the money? Everything that I want, we can go on demand right here on our devices and watch what we want, whether it's on YouTube or anywhere else. So you're absolutely right. That trend is just going to continue.
Yeah. I do want to hear, Colin, from you about the new redesign that had just, is just launched by Snapchat. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, they're trying to, what are your thoughts? I want to hear what you think, because I mean, you're on this platform every single day. What do you think, and how do you think, your customer base is going to react to the new design?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I think it looks fantastic. I think it's going to do a lot for the Discover section of it. It just kind of it just kind of brings your eyeballs right to it, gives it a little bit more of an impact within the app itself. And I think that's where you're going to see a lot of, personally, like, I don't know about you guys. Like, I don't really, engage with the Discover section very often.
I
do.
but when
I
I
do,
do,
I think we're,
What
yeah.
do you particularly watch on there, Kathy? Like, what is it?
Story like CNN or Tastemade or yeah. And now that we're gonna have Discover, like live stories and Discover kind of come together, I think it's
yeah,
gonna be even more attractive, because I definitely do spend time in live stories. When there's like political thing, or now with soccer with Copa America, like, oh my gosh, I'm all over live stories. But I also do go to Discover area to watch CNN or what have you. So
Yeah, I've heard a lot of like people. I've either heard people really loving this one particular part, or absolutely hating it. But when you're watching the story and it bleeds right into the next story. I know that wasn't this update. It was like an update or two ago. I love that, but I've heard so many people like not like it, and I don't see anybody in the middle. It's either like people absolutely love it or they absolutely hate it. So what about you guys? I'm actually kind of interested to hear what you guys think about it.
I love it. And I personally also, just going back to the content on Discover, I think regardless if it's BuzzFeed or CNN or USA Today, I think all of the channels on Discover have amazing content. Yeah. So it's not that I don't like the content. It's just, I just never have the time to really get into it as much as I want to. But when I do get into it, I love it. And I love the style. I love everything about it.
Do you guys spend more time posting or viewing?
I would say 50-50. Or maybe 75% posting, 25% viewing. It just depends on the day. I spend more time on Snapchat on the weekends.
Yeah. See, and I'm the opposite.
Actually viewing. Well, viewing on the weekends. Okay. Posting on the weekdays is probably more, and actually more at my leisure.
Right.
Cool. I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I have a newborn, so my schedule's kind of weird. So I don't have like a set 75-25.
Yeah, Kathy's like 3 a.m. She's on it every
night. My weekdays and my weekends are the same at this point.
That's great. Well, we are at 12:31. So should we take any questions? Or we have a couple from Nava. She said, do you cross promote your snaps on Facebook, and do those posts from Snapchat do better than others?
The one cross promotion thing that I consistently do is just putting my snap code up on, whether it's, my profile picture, or just posting it occasionally saying like completely biased opinion, today's snap story is the best one yet. And then putting my snap code up and having that draw people over to view it. That's probably the number one thing that I do to cross promote. But I rarely will take the entire story and post it. Like I said before, if I do, I might post you know, a 10-second clip from my Snap story on my Instagram or something like that. If there's something that I thought was particularly intriguing. But that's about it. That's about all I would do.
Would you ever put paid behind, let's say if you did post one of your stories, let's say a special event story that you did, and then put some paid behind it? I think that might be interesting.
Yeah, I haven't done that, but I would totally be open to it if I thought the content was worth an extra boost. There's plenty of content that I feel is worth an extra boost, and I do it quite often. But like I said before, until the videos get a little bit clearer and the words sync up with the video, once that problem is resolved, and I feel like that is something that would be a priority for them, because
right?
I don't know. It's definitely one of those weird issues, and it's keeping me from exposing more people to my Snapchat content on the other platforms, if I'm being honest. So hopefully that's something that gets cleared up, and when it does, that I'll be taking my entire story and putting it on my Facebook page, and
I feel like, though, even though there's still like the little tweaks, I feel like the pros outweigh the cons of putting your story on Facebook, because if you're using, the doodling or any of that, it's a signal, besides the blatant kind of promotion of your profile, a signal of like, hey, I'm on Snapchat. Like, if you want to see it in real time and want to see it on the real platform, join me from Facebook to Snapchat, without really like saying it. So I think that the Snapchat users are going to be forgiving of maybe it not working perfectly on Facebook, but they're going to be like, oh my God, I need to follow him on Snapchat.
And another thing that I do a lot of within the dealership, like when I'm at work, if like yesterday I had a customer, one of the things that we do when we sell a new scooter is we all take we take a balloon and we have the entire team sign it, and we end up tucking it away inside the scooter. So when they open their scooter seat for the first time, this balloon pops up. Well,
cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat little, it's our way. It's our version of a thank you note, if you will. But one of the things that I did was I had a couple customers nearby, right? And I was like, hey, like, sign this balloon. And they were in for service. They've bought a scooter from us. They've gone through that process. Like, they know that they received one, a few months ago or a year ago, whenever they got their scooter. So I'm like, hey, you're an honorary team member, like, sign this balloon. and I would take a snap of them signing it, and I would say, hey, like, check out this honorary team member. Like, they're signing another customer's balloon. Well, what that does is that makes them want to go and get on my Snapchat and view that view that snap. And then I got another follower, another person who's gonna, check in on the story.
And what is your advice to entrepreneurs or small businesses or even brands on, using Snapchat? Are they missing opportunities?
Absolutely. Now's the time. It's like anything else. Everyone's like, oh, I don't have the time to do it. Or, I mean, it's like, well, if you can make the time, it's gonna pay dividends. It's still early on. I think Snapchat's obviously still early, but it's proven that it's going to be a dominant player in this game. And if you can get involved now and you can start working on, like, I don't know, 2 years ago, I was doing it consistently daily, and I had like 5 people watching, and I'm like, I'm giving these 5 people, which I'm sure one of them was my mom, like, I'm just giving them, a daily update on what's happening in the life of Colin. But it's, slowly grown, and it's gotten, very, very consistent in terms of the numbers and the views every single day. And you just see it creeping and creeping and creeping. And, you can't, I don't think it's something that you can do once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. Like, it's, it's just going to come and go like that. You have to be very consistent with it and do it on a daily basis, even if it's 2 or 3 snaps a day. At least it's something, and it's, letting people in. But like I said before, the content, whatever you're posting has to be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys, but like, I started following DJ Khaled because everybody was, really talking his story. But now I find his story to be extremely long and very repetitive.
Yeah.
And I wish it were shorter, and I wish it had, new stuff. And this is obviously a celebrity.
We want something new.
Yeah. Like, let's keep it a little bit fresh.
I feel like this is, it reminds me of the early days of Facebook when it wasn't huge yet, but there was just enough people on it to make it really fun and interesting and kind of raw and organic. And, you know, Facebook is still awesome, but it's not like it was in the kind of like the first couple of years when it came out the door of just being in schools.
And there's always the talk too of like, you know, what's next? You know, people, you know, we're going to see Snapchat start to age up. So, you know, yes, it's perfect. You know, people are like, Colin, it's perfect for you because you have college students. And I agree. Yeah. Like, it's perfect for me, especially right now. Like, I'm engaging with my customers on a daily basis. It's great. But if you can get in now and start building that following, you're going to get the 40 to 50 and the 50 to 60 in a few years when everybody decides to get on it. So if you have that following and know how to actively use it and engage, you're just going to be ahead of the game. So don't wait.
Totally. I totally agree. And I think that's the fastest growing demographic right now in Snapchat is the 40 plus. I just have to ask you guys a question. How smart was Evan Spiegel for not selling out to Facebook? You remember that?
Imagine what the platform would be like.
What? Are you serious? Like when it all happened, I'm like,
yeah.
What's the current valuation now?
Yeah,
like
he had the
16
vision.
billion. Like, you know, it's a lot. So yeah, it's crazy. Good for him.
Yeah, at the time, everybody was probably like, "That guy's crazy."
And not only that, but really keeping it fresh and really making changes. You know, they do updates, and the updates have been quite huge. They're not, you know, fixing little bugs here or there. Like these are major changes, and keeping it fresh is gonna do the same thing. You know, as we want to do as business owners trying to bring people in, it's gonna keep us coming back, keeping them coming back. So good for them for continuing to innovate the platform.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, I think, Kathy, that's a wrap. Is there anything else that we have Colin here? What else can we talk about or talk about the next week's show?
Yeah. Talk about how we're going to get up to New York, Kathy.
Yes.
Is it Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yes.
Gary V. Do I get
you got me all intrigued. You want to be harassing me every day.
No, you know what I want to see you do, Colin? I want you to like reach out to Vespa and say, I have this huge following of people that like scooters. I want because I know you're a dealer. You sell their product. Right. You should go to Italy or wherever their plant is, probably in the USA at this point.
Yeah.
And do a Snapchat story of that. It's a travel Vespa story about how they assemble the whole story. I would love to see something like that.
You need to Periscope it. Kathy will go with you. She'll be the Periscoping it. I'll go with you and I'll do your Snapchat takeover because you won't be able to do it yourself, right? And we'll all go to Italy. I think it's perfect.
Fantastic.
That'd be awesome. And if you guys want to do any Snapchat takeovers, I'm in. So let me know.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me get over my baby sewn. That would be really weird. Like, did Colin have another child? What is that? So, all right, awesome, guys. Well, no, thank you so much, Colin, for being here and for sharing an amazing story and how you're using Snapchat. So,
thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Colin.
Bye.
All right.
When's that? Who do we have lined up for next week?
Next week we have Alice Chase. She's a lifestyle blogger, and she's going to share with us how she she became a mommy blogger and then leverage that into lifestyle blogging and how she works with brands. I mean, she works with huge brands like HP and Kia. I mean, she travels everywhere and does lots of amazing stuff for big brands. So we're going to talk a little bit about how she got started and then how she works with brands. Because I know a lot of people are like, okay, how do I get to work? How do I reach out to a brand? How do I work with a brand in this type of capacity as an influencer? So,
that's going to be good. I can't wait for that one. So next week on The Digital Dish, and Colin, hopefully you'll join us as a guest.
Sure, love to.
You could just chime in.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye, guys.